It is time to start the sound to summon the stream. Wah, 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 wah. Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Coil Quickcard, and welcome back to the RPG Maker Community Project. That is actually still quite loud. How is everybody doing this fine morning? I hope you are all well. I am definitely not killing time for the next minute while I lose my latest attempt to catch this Hydreigon the Unrivaled in Pokemon Scarlet. That is definitely not a thing that is happening now, because that would be silly. Why would I bother starting one of these Terra raids in multiplayer 10 minutes before the stream started? Obviously I wouldn't do that. Please ignore that sound. It is definitely not the sound of me putting down my Switch. Alright, so, last time we did, honestly, not, like, a crazy amount of stuff last time. We got, like, our next tier of equipment started. We organized an event at the mountain where we get into a boss fight. I haven't actually mechanically built that boss fight yet, but a fight does happen. So we designed the scene where you get the hook shot and are taught how to use it. And then I designed just the rough outer parts of the swamp map. Just the navigable parts. Today we are going to be finishing the swamp here. And we are going to start our work on the Pepsi headquarters here. And I'll be honest, I really don't know what the hell we are doing when it comes to the Pepsi headquarters. That is kind of a bit of weirdness. So I figured that the first thing we will do is, here we go, just make some of the hook shot slots. We're not going to go with all of the hook shot things here. Make a giant Pepsi can as the headquarters. I don't have the ability to do that. Okay. Then we set event number 2. Oh, wait, facing up. Luckily, I did future-proof all of this a lot, where it actually includes the specific order of things that I need in order to make the hook shot sequences work. So the order here is 1, 2, 1, and 1. There we go. Then the order is going to be 3, 1, 1. So H3 is going to move here, facing up. And then H1 is going to move here, facing up. And then this is also meant to be H1. Since this was just copy-pasted off of another map, I do want to make sure it's all clean. Then we move to 4, 1, 1. So 1, 2, this is 3. Facing up. And up. And up. And at this point, we don't yet want to do this. Add additional lines here. We are making the very first hook shot to enter the swamp. So this is going to be line 511. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think? No, because we're going from 35, 34, 33. This should be 32. And then this also needs to be 32. And then this needs to move up. Okay, and then we need another line for the 6th. So H6 is going to move there. This needs to be adjusted to H5. Alright, bye Silmon. You have yourself a good time. So this needs to be 31, 31. Then H1 move up. And then the player needs to move up. Wait 5 frames. So we reset H2's position to back here. Then we have the player move up. Then we reset H3's location to here. Then we move up. Then we reset H4's location. We have the player move up. Yes, so we need to copy this entire sequence so we can do this with H5. Select H5, reset H5 to there. And then finally, we move on to H6. We are just making the hook shot work. Okay. So that goes there. And then we reset H1's location. Alright, let's make sure it works. It has been more than a week since I actually made one of these. So we do need to do that. Also, next time I'm in the editor, yes, noob, I am adding the mimic. So don't worry about that. We're just going to take a copy from here. And we're going to add the mimic there. Next thing we want to do is probably actually make it possible to get into the swamp. That will probably be helpful for the purposes of testing. There we go. And add the exits to the swamp. Just like that. Okay, let's see if this hookshot spot works. Oh, I didn't even select, like, the music for this yet. Oh. Right, yeah. There we go. Dude, come on. Why is it not interacting? Okay. Is it just because I left the walkable path there? That should fix it. Actually, no. Before I do anything else, we're finally going to remove this random boat here that I was using to transport to my hookshot testing facility. Okay, the hookshot didn't even launch. I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, it didn't launch because... Right, because that save hasn't activated the hook shot. Right. Okay. That makes sense. In that case, we can just put a thing here that you interact with. That turns on the switch for having the hook shot. Silly, silly me. Alright, there we go. Right. It wasn't working specifically because I hadn't actually advanced this test save to the point where I have the hook shot. Alright. Thank you. Okay. So, one space too far. Right, of course it's a space too far, because the last one needs to be one lower than the final destination, because H1 is moving to fill the final location. Of course. Now I remember. Thank God I decided to label these things. Nope, that is still one too many player movements. Right. Because we are trying to reset H6 when we don't need to reset H6. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we now have the entry point into this area. This should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the longest one. So there is one exact spot where if you're down here, you're not going to see the pillar up there. But if you're up here, you are going to be able to see it. Okay. So that needs to be adjusted. Okay. So let's go ahead and fix that. But otherwise, everything looks like it's in a nice, appropriate location. Okay. So that is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I believe that means that we're only going to have to run H1 through H5 for the entire swamp area. So that's good. At this point now, I really want to pretty up the swamp a bit. Just add, like, you know, some various bits and bobs in the water. Decorating the land is definitely going to be the bigger problem for the swamp. But we can still make it work, I think. We just need to make sure that everything looks nice. Give it a very swampy look. Turn on some music while I do the map work here. We're not going to spend a lot of time working on this, but I want to at least get some of the decorations started, you know? Okay, that looks pretty good. And now we can drop some basic lily pads around. We don't really need too many of them to get across just, you know, the aesthetic of the area. But, you know, a handful here and there aren't going to hurt. We don't want them touching any of the corners. And we don't want them going over, or going, we basically don't want them to be anywhere where they're going to touch ground or overlap with the existing paths. See, look at that. Look how much better the swamp looks already. That is so much better. Okay. So, for the actual swamp, what do I want to use for, like, the actual swamp area? That is the question. I can't really go all out with the trees. Simply because there's a lot of walkable paths that I can't break. But we can at least have a scattering of trees. It's going to be a little... It's going to be a little crazy. Morning, Cole! Welcome! Or evening. I believe it's more evening for you. Okay, so that's about all the trees I can really do. Let's put down some of these big flowers. Afternoon. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, these big purple flowers. We're just going to spread these around pretty liberally. As long as they do not interfere with the walking path. Did more sketches. Can I send... Yeah, you're welcome to send more. Okay. So there's a bunch of those. Let's also put around some of these. I want to get, like, at least one on every island. Okay. There we go. We got a little bit of that on every island. Okay. Let's take a look at this swamp from the ground level. Cole, I would appreciate your eye on this one especially. Just to see... You know? I think this actually looks really good. Like, this works. With the right music and sound, this is going to really feel like a good swamp, I think. Every path still seems to be traversable, including this one that I had to move. I like it. I really like this. So swamp, the insides of the walkable islands are a little barren. Yeah, there's not There's not really too much I can do with that, though. Unfortunately. Grass. There is grass. I'm already running 2 layers of grass. Anything else I put there? I suppose I can just scatter this stuff around like crazy. Just for a little bit of extra texture. Because this is all walkable. But I think you were absolutely right, because I was also thinking it wasn't quite there to my eye either. It was like 90% of the way to the effect that I wanted. So then we just sprinkle around some more of these to accent the rest. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with vision, like being able to actually perceive where all of the hookshot lines need to go. But it probably won't. I haven't really had a problem like that with grasses before. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay. That does look better. That does look a lot better. Which means that all we really need now is the sounds. So the first thing we want is sounds of, like, the river. Okay. That's pretty soft, but I think it works. Can this area have specific footstep sounds? Yes, but it would be a nightmare. Alright, let's see the full effect. Mad cool to hear splashes every step you make. I really don't think so. I really don't think that would be... I really don't think that would work. Okay. At least not with every step. But we could have a parallel running event with some extra background sounds. So let's say every 180 seconds, every 3 seconds, it plays like a frog. Okay, every 3 seconds it plays a frog. And then every 2 seconds after that, it plays a splash. Oh, that sounds horrible for a splash. Okay. So what is the overall effect caused by that one? Let's take a look. With music, frogs, and splashes. We definitely need more. Okay, we definitely need more spacing. The frog needs to be louder. But I think that's pretty good for a swamp. I like it. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so we have our swamp. Hello, Mystic Moth. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I think that worked fantastic. I don't care if thematically I should work... Yeah, I know, you're working on that. Okay. While we are here, let's at least work on the remaining hookshot lines that are going in a north direction. So, H1, H2, H1, and then H1 move up. Next we move H3. And then H1, H1. Then we move H4. That's 1. No, that's 2, 3, 4. H5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, no. Whoops, that's the reset command. No. This is the H5, which goes 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1626. And then that starts to move the player up. Then we reset H2, H3, H4, H5. That should be all it takes for the second line to work. Is All Stars copyrighted? Mystic over... Didn't think of a funny gag. This is Shrek. Might be. Yes, All Stars would definitely be copyrighted, and no, we are not putting in Shrek references. I am offering a flat refusal on Shrek references. Okay. So that was nice and quick. Once again, we're just going to work on the northern-facing sequences at this point. We're just going to paste all the spots that have north-facing hook shots. And I guess we'll go left to right. No, I'm not doing Shrek references. This is already an absolute mess of a setting. Like, we put in Shrek. We have added nothing to the project. Nothing of our own design or creativity has been added. We have not contributed to its growth. Actually, we don't need any of the H5s on that one, which means that we do not need to reset H5. So that one should be done. So this one, H1. References can be fun, but they are not themselves a creative outlet, which is adding new creativity to the world. They're just, haha, look, I remember this thing that other people have made. And if you want to adapt a reference, if you want to truly, like, make it your own, do something, you know, new and creative with it, which is definitely doable, but you have to commit to it. You have to genuinely commit to having the effort that is necessary to actually have it be new and different. And at that point, you're not working with reference, you're working with parody or working with satire. And if you're working with parody or satire, then that is now a key theme of your work. And it's something you kind of just need to acknowledge and own, or it's just going to dangle out in the air like a neon sign saying, "Look at me, look at me." At least that's how I feel about it. It might just be that I have no interest in adding Shrek and I'm trying to justify it. That is also a distinct possibility. Like, the Pepsi stuff has really turned into an element that is persistent throughout the entire project. It is something that actually exists as a force within the game, within the setting. It actually has, like, weight and function in the world. And by that, I think we have genuinely done a good job turning the Pepsi stuff into like a genuine creative expression of our own in this project. Or as close to it a creative expression as something that silly can be. H2, H1... and then H3 and H1 and then H4 and H1, and we can eliminate the H5 as well as the H5 reset. Interesting. Yeah. In general, not all swamps are references to Shrek. You know, in much the same way that all hallways are not a reference to the steamroller scene from Austin Powers. And not all airplane interiors are references to the classic comedy film Airplane. It's easy to do. Yes, Sudapong, it could absolutely be easily done through the use of plugins. One of the things I have kind of stubbornly tried to do with this project is basically not use plugins. In fact, so far the entire system has only made use of a single plugin, and its only purpose was so that weather effects would be visible during battles, and it's literally one of the most basic things. So I have actually tried to approach the entire project with minimal plugins. All right, we're going to test all of the north-facing hookshot points, and then we're going to move on to actually designing Pepsiland, which I kind of dread. Okay, that one works. That one works. That one works. That one works. The south-facing counterparts have not been added yet, so this is just exclusively the test of the north-facing hookshot starts. And it looks like every single one of the north-facing hookshot connections is completely functional as intended. So that is honestly really, really, really good. Fantastic. All right, all the north-facing ones work. Which now means we have to make Pepsiland. Let's load up a couple of... Let's load up a few sample maps just to kind of use as inspiration. Because I genuinely do not have the slightest clue how we want to approach this. Upper class homes. Studio apartment? Bullshit, you have a studio apartment with 3 distinct sections like that. Temple exterior, standard home, airport, local shopping street, housing complex. Okay. All right. So these are all just sample maps. These are ones that are included in the game by default. So let's look through these. Let's try to get some inspiration. Let's try to decide what we are going for the Pepsi company in this world. Do we want something that is reveling in, like, extravagance and luxury? Do we want something that is just completely and totally, like, soulless and focused? Something that's going to feel more, like, bureaucratic and office-like? Do we want something that's going to feel more like a factory, less about, like, you know, sort of a professional office and more just like crazy factory? Let's think about what we want to do here. So this is a casino map. So this one is obviously much more about just, like, wild luxury and extravagance. This one's more like a temple. So if you had something like this, maybe more for, like, a lobby or something. We could go with Crazy Factory. That is a possibility, but my ability to actually bring that aesthetic to life is going to be limited. This is more just like a standard office. This is again more just like standard office. This is more kind of like a modern home. Okay. This one's like a hotel exterior. Honestly, I actually really, really like something like this for the exterior of Pepsiland. With the lower levels being the soulless offices and factories, and higher levels for higher up being comically rich. That's not bad. We could definitely have a multi-level system here. I think I'm going to keep the hotel for reference, because I really like that kind of exterior design. Okay. So we have like a ground floor. There we go. Okay, so we have like a ground floor sort of lobby entrance that is way too big. That is too small. So we have like a ground floor, sort of a lobby and entryway. Then above that, we can have like your middle management. So we can have like your middle management office there. And then up at the top, we can have the luxury offices. But then underneath all of that, we run like Willy Wonka Factory. I don't just want to, like, completely fill this place with NPCs, though. Is there some way we can do, like, a large-scale factory, but have, like, a minimal number of NPCs that we're working with? It'll be a bit shit. If I'm being completely honest, it's going to be a bit shit. But we can do Willy Wonka's chocolate, or Willy Wonka's Pepsi factory, basically. That would also give us another dungeon for this area of the game. Oompa Loompas. Hold on. If we use the kid version of the character generator, what is like the least human looking like kind of thing we could go for using the child section of the generator? We could put some kind of facial feature on them. We could make them like beast people. Alright. Does everyone in chat want to lean into the Willy Wonka plan? Is that what we're going to go with? Just like a labor force of like children or something. because that's decently viable. I do think we should give them, like, a not particularly natural skin color. We ran white for Mr. Bones. What about the blue skin? Like, blue Pepsi kids. That might work. Maybe they grow up. Maybe they grow up into becoming the various Malter mites. Like, maybe this is a larval form of the Malter mite. Because that could work. That could be interesting. Malter mite could even have, like, I don't know, reminisce about his time working in the factory. I think it's a pretty decent idea. Okay. So, we're running Blue Child Labor Force. We're not gonna have them be slaves. But they can be like the larval form of the Malter mite people. That's a possibility. A long time ago, there was a dude here, Larry. He was pretty cool. I liked him. Too bad they got him. What do you mean they got him? He shared his lunch on break. I don't think I fully grasp what you're going for there. Okay. Alright. So, how do I integrate this ludicrous idea into the greater story? How the hell do I integrate this into the Act 3 story? I got it. I got it. I got it. I know how we integrate this. Oh, I know how we integrate this. Okay. Look out, because I have just been inspired. Okay. So tell me what you think about this. Final boss of Act 3 Sasp and Perilla, the root beer gods, are fought in the factory of the Pepsi headquarters. Is Sass sassy? No. Probably not. And here is the lore. It is the soda multiverse. Countless dimensions exist nestled together. And they are all about different types of beverages. There is a water dimension, a monster dimension, a tea dimension, a liquor dimension. The Pepsi factory taps into the Pepsi dimension to produce their stuff. So the factory has a rift into the soda multiverse, and that is how you get to the root beer gods, and why the Pepsi people recognize and can help with the ominous Coke bottle. Okay. What do you think of this? The Pepsi headquarters is built on top of a rift into the soda multiverse. And at the end of the act, you go there, you go through the factory, you go into the rift in order to fight the root beer gods. That way, we can absolutely have this idea of the Willy Wonka's crazy factory, but we can also tie it into the greater story of the act. And this is also really going to help because I had no idea where we would have like a climactic showdown for this act, given that the entire area is very, very rural, very much, you know, small nature. This could actually solve a problem for me that I've been trying to figure out about where do we actually have like a big finale set piece. I think the factory... Every world is just a bubble and a primordial soda. Okay. The ether that divides all worlds is the primordial soda, which has not yet coagulated into a final expression of delicious, refreshing drink. And now we know what the phlogiston is. It turns out it is actually primordial soda. Okay. I think that works. It's incredibly stupid. And yet it does work. And if we completely dial down and focus on and go crazy with the soda focus for here in Act 3, then maybe once we get to Act 4 and beyond, we can start to move a little bit more beyond that. Maybe. We'll have to see. Ugh. I doubt I'm going to have a scene where people are literally drinking the base substance of reality, so that can be your headcanon, but it's probably not something that would ever be reflected in the actual project. Okay. Okay. I think we are good. So now we need to start building some of the actual Pepsi headquarters. So let's go with Sci-Fi Outside. This is going to be Pepsiland Exterior. So how in the nine hells do I actually do this? First, we're going to need a door, a doorway. No. I think this is a good opportunity to use like a gate. Like a really, really good gate. This one is perfect for, like, a rift. I kind of like this one. So I think this is, like, 3 wide. So if it's 3 wide, then we need like a pillar on each side. So we stretch it out like that. And then we can have, like, kind of a platform leading up to it. What looks good here? Okay. Okay, so we have a multi-tiered entrance. Quill, I friggin' love Alola. That's good. Is it because it has Magnemite? Is that a factor? Okay. So now that we have all of this... Okay. So, we're really never going to see too high up. But we can still... have the whole facility go up even more, and then sort of end with a capstone up at the top. Okay. Alright, all that goes here. Drop some shadows there. Drop some shadows here. Drop some shadows there. Okay. So we need to remove one block of width. Okay. So we put in a bunch of trees, and 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 a bunch of trees. Honestly, the trees can just go all the way up. Just like that. And a bunch of trees. Have you played the Buster Jam demo? Nope, don't even know what that is. Okay, we put a bunch of trees here. And then a bunch of trees, and then a bunch of trees. Okay, okay, okay. We're actually putting together like a real good-looking facility here, I think. Okay. Right there. Right there. No, those are too low. Just like that. And then up here, we have bigger windows, like that. And then up here, even bigger windows. Okay. Buster Jam is like Pizza Tower, Anton Blast, WarioWare, and meme humor in one. Ah. Okay, we need more decoration. Ooh, those windows look way better. Where are those windows? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, damn, that looks... Kinda wish I used that one. That one looks great. Yeah, facilities on the top would definitely add to the aesthetic. I really don't need to worry too much about it, though. Because almost certainly no one is ever going to see it. No, not a fan of that. No. That looks fine. What else? What else? What else? I really don't know how else we can like properly decorate all of this. I mean, I guess it works. Um... I suppose I really need some kind of a decoration here. I don't really know what works. That kind of works. Just go like that. And like that, and like that. But surely there's still something else I can put here. Some kind of decoration. Something that's going to add a little bit more to the world. I don't really know what that would be. No. Okay. Okay, this works. We'll just lay down a bunch of those. And then a bunch of connecting parts. Okay. I think we're very close. I think we are very, very close to being done. Some basic signage is probably a good idea. Not like that. No. There's a giant jellyfish called the giant phantom jellyfish, and you cannot convince me otherwise. that jellyfish wasn't an inspiration for Miss Magius. Could be. Okay, yeah, little, like, call boxes or something. I guess that works. There we go. Okay. I think this is good for the Pepsi headquarters. I do really think so. Yeah, I think we have a good structure here. Quill, would you eat a Krabby Patty? I would not, because it has been saturating the entire time in salt water. However good a Krabby Patty might be for a human palate, it is going to be obscenely salty. Okay. I think we have it. I think the only thing I definitely need to change is to have these areas come up a bit higher. Boop, 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 boop. There we go, just like that, just like that. Which means that the statues can actually be moved up a space. Like that. Okay. There we go. I think that's it. I think that is the finished exterior of the Pepsi headquarters. Ugh. Ugh. So now what we need is a proper music for it. Okay. Quick little changes. Okay. That is fine. And when you walk on here, we'll have Malter say, Pepsiland is just ahead now. Okay. And then self-switch. Nothing activated there. And at this point, we need the road back. So we need a switch. Switch. Sure, that's fine. And this is going to be Swamp Bridge. Perfect. So then when Swamp Bridge is on, we will have a way to cross. Okay. When the image is a tile and the priority is below, let's make that same as character. Does below character work here? Whatever it is, we need to lower the volume. Okay, let's take a look. We've been working on that for a while. So we can cross here. 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 Pepsiland is just ahead. Ha-ha! Yes! Yes, 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 yes! Yes, that is exactly what I want. Okay. But I don't want the lever to just disappear when it's done. Okay. We also want to change the sound effect. Oh. I see. Okay. Okay. That's good. Turn on Swamp Bridge. Swamp Bridge is fine. These are fine. So let's add a sign. Sign. If the bridge is out, hold on. Okay. How do I want to say this? Just a sign that says, like, you can make a bridge here. How do I want to express that? Caution, bridge can only be operated from the other side. That's not really a caution. It's like, bridge can only be operated from the other side. That's fine. Bridge can only be operated from the other side. That's fine. Okay. That's fine. Is there something I could have the bridge look like before it deploys? Is there anything that works better than just having it appear? Not that I'm seeing off the top of my head. Although I do like this metal bridge. More than the other one. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. And we don't need to add... we don't need to add now to that. Okay. That is fine. So now we just need one last thing. We want to shift the color very slightly. Just to bring out the vibrancy of the swamp. Ooh! Oh, look at that! Oh, it's such a it is such a subtle color shift. But that looks so good. That brings out the vibrancy of all of this so well. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Cool. Alright, so what if before it deploys, it just appears as like a little stump in the water. Just like there's clearly a platform here, but it's not active. Does that work? That is a good question. No, that really doesn't look good. That actually looks quite terrible. It needs to be something much smaller. But something that does suggest there is something here, but it's not working right now. Preferably something that takes up a smaller portion of space. I don't know. Do I have anything that really fits that bill? It's like a lamp. Doesn't really get what I'm going for. Okay, no, there really isn't, so I think I'm better off just just putting like a fence post in the middle. No, that doesn't work. If it was a 3 wide gap, I could do this. Hey, look at that. There's like a bubble tile. Kind of like that. Yeah, we can definitely put down like a bubble tile around. Just stick it in a few places where it's not going to cause any trouble. Okay. No, I really don't think I have anything I can use to sort of visually represent that there's like bridge supports here. I'm not seeing anything at all that would like achieve that. Okay, so we're just going to give up on that. It's just going to be magically appearing bridge. I can live with that. It's hardly the first silly thing that has existed in this project. And for the next step, we are going to delete the crags from all of the hook shots that I already created. We're still going to have to place all the south-facing ones, which is pretty annoying, but once you have one side of them set up, it's super, super easy and convenient to actually reverse them, so not too worried about that. Alright, so the swamp is done. The Pepsiland exterior is done. We have a better idea of how the act is actually going to come to a climactic end. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that, honestly. And doot. So now we have all of the maps connected. Let's actually go take a look at Pepsiland. Working on the regional Kingler. Good luck with that. Okay. I think this looks pretty good. Music is pretty soft. And then we want to put that there just so we have a nice even area. Okay. No, not a clock. No, that's like a casino sign. No. That should work better. Yeah, I love the color in here. It looks so damn good. Yeah, I think... I think just a couple signs. I think that's fine. Okay. So if we're going to sci-fi inside, and we're running that one. Sorry, that was really loud. Okay. So this is going to be the Pepsiland ground floor. So let's think about general shape just for the next few minutes. You're going to... That is practically invisible. So you're going to enter. And then there'll be like a we're going to need like a receptionist's desk sort of right in front. So the entrance comes into this, and then we'll have paths leading off to the side. One can sort of be like an atrium where people would, you know, kind of wait. Honestly, we can have like an atrium on either side. The paths on either side back here connect to the same hallway. So we're gonna have like elevators or staircases or something here. And then the path will go on past the elevators and basically have like a couple small rooms. So that will be the general shape of the first floor. Okay. And then for story progression, we will go up to the second floor. And then second floor is going to be pretty basic. It's just going to be the elevators. And then basically a big square of paths that go into, like, a number of offices. So we'll have, like, a big office here, a big office here. Honestly, we could go for, like, double big offices, and then this could be just kind of like the general shape of the second floor. So you'll come in on the ground floor, talk to the receptionist. You're free to explore it. You use the elevator in order to go up to the second floor, and you talk to somebody, and Malter will get, like, you know, some more information. So if we are going to do that, we are going to need an elevator. So let's make it like 10 by 10. So we will ride the elevator up to the different floors. At this point, the only one that it'll let you access is the second floor. So once you have the second floor, they'll send you to talk to someone in the Catfolk Village. The Catfolk Village will be accessible as soon as you have the hook shot. Okay. But there's nothing you can actually do there narratively until you've been to the Pepsi headquarters. Okay. So you're also able to access the third floor. And this is where, like, the Pepsi portation connection for this area is going to be. So the elevator is, like, here, and then basically there's, like, just a portal room, and then that's where we're going to have the next Pepsi portation connection point. So that covers ground floor, second floor, and third floor. So visually, it's all nice and cohesive. Okay. I think that works. So I'm going to have to be ending the stream soon, but let's make some notes about next time. To do in between streams, finish Swamp hook shots, do some wall work on the offices, just so we have at least the basic structure of the rooms to work with. That's all I'll do in between streams this week. Next stream, we are going to finish the Pepsiland offices. We are going to design Katasby, the new party members' abilities and powers. We are going to do basic map for the cave that divides the two halves. We are going to have the Pepsi portation realm design. So that is all the stuff that we are going to be doing on the next stream. But it's been a couple hours, and I still have a lot of busy stuff that I'm going to have to get done today. So I think that is going to be it. Yeah. Thank you everybody who stopped by. If you are new to this project, please be happy to leave a comment, chat in the live chat, or check out my Discord. There's a link in the description if you want to contribute to the project. I am happy to take as many reasonable ideas as possible and try to integrate them into all of this. The current daily series is going to be shifting to Silksong. So a lot of Silksong episodes are going to be coming up in the coming weeks. Pretty excited about that. Let's see. Metroid Prime 4 comes out next month. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, I think that's it. Next week, it's still just going to be the 2 streams since work has been pretty busy. So Saturday will be the continuation of the Pokemon Soul Silver Nuzlocke, which had a terrible first week, and yesterday actually went pretty well, so I'm looking forward to continuing that. And then be here next week around the same time. Sunday next week, we're going to be back here with more of the RPG Maker community project. I think that's everything that I needed to talk about. So, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one, and it is time to make the noise to summon the end of the stream. Wow, 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 wow.